Hi and welcome back to another video of the basic JavaScript for beginners course. In today's video we are going to learn about primitive data types in JavaScript. So let's get into it. In general, primitive data types are predefined types or basic types that a particular programming language supports. In JavaScript, there are 6 primitive values which are undefined, string, number, boolean, null, and the symbol value, as mentioned in the ECMAScript language specification. So even though we have already dealt with some of these primitive values in previous video, let's explore them one by one in the next few minutes. So let's start with the undefined primitive value. The undefined value is assigned to any variable that has been declared but not assigned any value. Now to understand that, let's see an example. Okay, let's say that we want to declare a variable foo and don't assign into it any value. Now if we console log the value of foo, so according to the definition, we know that foo holds the value undefined. So let's save this file and refresh the page to see. Now as you can see, we are getting the value undefined that is assigned to the foo variable. Now if we want to double check this and we want to check the type of the variable foo, we can use the operator type of in this way, like in this way. Console log type of foo. Let's see what we will get. Now let's refresh the page and see. As you can see, the type of foo returned the value undefined, which is the type of the foo variable. The second primitive type that we will talk about is a string. A string is nothing more than a sequence of characters that forms a text or that are used mainly to represent text. Now let's declare a string variable in JavaScript. To do that, let's say that we have a variable that is named str and that holds the value I am a string, which is a text. Now notice that I am using the double quotation marks, and another way is using the single quotation mark. So both ways are correct. Best practice would be to use one of these forms in all your code, but not both. Now let's check the type of str variable as we did before. Let's say console log type of str. Now if we save this file and refresh, we are expecting to have string displayed, right? Now let's see. As you can see, we are having the value string displayed, which refers to the type of the str variable. Number is another primitive type in JavaScript that represents a numeric data type. Let's declare a number in JavaScript. Let's say that we have a number n that holds the value 2019. Now as we have already done before, let's check the type of n. Type n. Let's save, then refresh the page. As you can see, the type of the n variable is number. Now the boolean primitive data type in JavaScript is a logical data type which can hold only two values, which are true or false. Let's declare a boolean in JavaScript. Let's say that we have variable b which holds the value true and a variable c which holds the value false. Now let's check the type of these variables. Type of b and type of c. Now if we save and refresh the page, we expect that we got boolean for b and boolean for c. Let's see. As you can see, we are having boolean for b and boolean for c. Another primitive type of data in JavaScript is the null type, which refers or which represents the non-existence of a value. To illustrate this, let's declare a variable. Let's say we have a variable a which holds the value null. Now if we console log this value a, we will get null, as you can see. Now you might ask yourself, what's the difference between undefined and null? Now, undefined refers to the way, or refers to declaring a variable without assigning to it any value yet. However, on the other hand, the null value represents the non-existence of value, or you are assigning a value to that variable, but you are saying that the value doesn't exist. Another difference is that when you, let's first declare another variable b, and let's don't assign to it any value, which means that this variable for us is undefined. Now, if we console log the type of b, then console log the type of a, let's save and refresh. As you can see, the type of b is undefined because we are declaring the variable but not assigning to it any value, and the type of a is an object, which means that null is a reference to an object that exists in the memory. I know it's a bit tricky and confusing right now, but the more you get your hands dirty, the more you will understand the concept. One last thing that I want to talk about concerning this lesson is that JavaScript is a dynamic typed language, which means that type checking occurs during runtime. In other words, the types of variables are checked during the execution of a program. And also, when you set a variable to a certain or particular type, you can change it later on if you want. So something like that is possible. Let's say that we have a variable a, and this variable holds the value, let's say foo, which is a string. Now if we console log the variable foo, then we want to change this variable a, or the value of a, to a number, 2019. Now if we console log the variable foo again, then save and refresh. I'm sorry, it's not defined. Okay, I'm sorry, I had this variable a. So if we refresh again, as you can see, we are having the string foo, then 2019, which is the same variable, but in the first console log it was a string, and in the second console log it becomes a number. On the other hand, if JavaScript were a statically typed language where the type checking happens during the phase of compilation, something like that wouldn't be possible, because you would have to mention the type of your variables like in Java, and you wouldn't be able to change the value type of your variable whenever they are declared. So if we want to replicate the same example here with the Java just for illustration, so you would first define your variable a with the type string. Then if you do this, you would get an error on here, because Java is a statically typed language. So which means that whenever you define a variable with a particular type, you can't change it anymore. So before we end this lesson, I want you guys to do this task, this simple task, which says that you have to declare two variables, my name and my age, then assign some values to those variables you have just declared, then log the following text, which is my name is my name, your variable, and I am your age, years old. Here we are at the end of this video. I hope that you have learned something new today. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next lesson.